Hello, family. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to part 20 of your marriage and narcissism, or part 10 of the second series, which is the effects of narcissism on your marriage. Okay, narcissism cannot be endured forever. Eventually, it gets to a point where the victim gets fed up. It gets to a point where their eyes open. It gets to a point where they understand what they are dealing with. It gets to a point where they accept that they are not loved and they will never be loved. At this point, they try to reorganize whatever they have left of their lives. And it may either end in divorce. There are three ways that it ends: either in divorce or just mere acceptance that I can't do anything about this, or a total transformation of their marriage. Okay, three things. And all of these would happen as a result of the enlightenment. There's something in the study of narcissistic abuse called the Sophia stage. Okay, at this stage, the victim is so aware. You can't advise them. You can't encourage them. You can't quote Bible verses to tell them it will be well. They've come to a point of realization. They have endured enough pain, enough trauma, enough shock, enough forgiveness. There's always a limit to what a person can take. Okay, so from here, something breaks within them. They become very numb. They stop playing the games of the narcissist. They no longer follow arguments into the rattle, those circular arguments. You said, and when you're just about to get to the truth, then the goalpost is changed again. When you're about to score, then the goalpost is changed again. And before you realize you've argued for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, they stop. Whatever you think is what there is what it is. They don't follow arguments anymore. They don't get hurt anymore, because people get hurt due to expectation. When you expect something good from your spouse and they let you down, then you get hurt. But they get to a stage where they don't expect anything good from their spouse anymore. So there's nothing they do that hurts them. Nothing gets to them emotionally. They become very numb and very cold. They are not bitter. If you are not careful, you might be tempted to seek revenge. But at this point, most people, genuine people, they don't feel bitter. They don't feel angry. They don't feel sad. They don't feel happy. They don't feel anything. They become emotionless. Emotions are gone. They see reality and they literally get out of their emotion. They don't feel anything again. They've cried enough. They've gotten angry enough. They've wondered enough. All those things die. They are not angry. They are still polite. They'll still do things for their spouse, but this time on their own terms. You can't force them. You can't cajole them. You can't manipulate them. You can't promise them. You can't cry. You can't argue them. You can't accuse them. Whatever you think, they can't be moved. But they are not bitter. They are not angry. They are not fighting. They are not doing any of those things. Now, when this happens, the narcissist may not be able to respond correctly. So maybe initially they may go a bit rage baiting. When that doesn't work, they may switch to love bombing. When that doesn't work, they become desperate. They despair. And from here, you begin to experience emotional distance. Okay, they are confused, and you have stopped responding emotionally. So there's a natural emotional distance that begins to happen. The two of you become two distinct beings, even though you may still be married. But that, because sometimes even the arguments and all those, it still keeps you together. You are still together, arguing, crying, shouting. It's all together. But now you just stop. You just snap. So it's like the thing stops. You are left on your own, and you leave the narcissist on their own, and nobody's responding to their game. So the distance begins to build up. Okay. In Ecclesiastes 4, 9 and 10, it says that two are better than one. It ends by saying that if either of them falls down, one can help the other. But now you actually become two. You become two. And you literally see the marriage You become too distinct. At this point, you begin to see your spouse as a very, very different person. You don't see them like the person you used to know. Okay, he becomes a very different person. Now, with this kind of separation, it develops unintended consequences as well, because it will start affecting the bedroom. Okay, sex is always connected to emotions, and once your emotions die towards somebody, you don't feel anything. It doesn't matter how beautiful they are, doesn't matter how curvaceous or how masculine they are, nothing moves you anymore. You see them as something like an artwork. You don't it's like they are dead in your eyes. You don't really see them. There's nothing alive about them. There's no spark, there's no glow about them. They are just there. Okay, so for many people, they are not able to bring themselves to having intimacy with such persons again. And most of the times, this stage will happen after a traumatic experience, maybe a drastic betrayal or something that it just snaps everything. So they can't even bring themselves together to have any form of intimacy with them. For those who try, it takes a lot of grace of God, a lot of prayer, because you have to navigate a lot of obstacles, the images, the memories, the thoughts of what they've done, and all those things. They block your sensual hormones, and you are not able to connect. It takes a lot of work to connect with those people. When you are here, your marriage is on the brink. It's about to die if God does not intervene. Okay, your spouse can no longer manipulate you. And interestingly, the narcissist is used to being admired, being wanted, and so they also can't understand why they now can't trigger you anything. And they don't know how to. If a healthy person even betrays their spouse, they have a healthy way of going, oh, I acknowledge what I've done. They humble themselves and gradually work. And narcissist still expects you to just go for them. And so when you are not doing that, they don't know any way. The narcissist is very proud. They don't know any way. So it becomes a big problem. 1 Corinthians 7:3-4 says that the husband should fulfill their marital duty to their wife, and likewise the wife to their husband. And they both don't have authority over each other. But in this point, it's not intentional. The thing just dies. And you don't know what to do. And you know that the sweetness, the unity, the fluidity of a marriage is determined by the quality of sex. Once the sex dies, it begins to affect unity and love in the marriage. So now there's division, now there is strife, communication really goes down, there's resentment towards each other, you are not looking at each other's schedules, programs begin to conflict, you begin to be a bit cold towards each other. The narcissist will try to be rude, will try to trigger, but the victim is now cold but very firm. And so you see that if you are not careful, some little cat and mouse games begin to come up. You have to ensure that this doesn't happen. But usually the empath who is awakened doesn't follow any of this. They are just setting, rebuilding their lives. Okay. Mark 10:8-9 says that, and the two become one flesh, so they are no longer two but one. Wherefore what God has put together, let no man put asunder. Here you are really being put asunder. There's lack of unity. You cannot be united again because sex is gone, communication is gone. You begin to go divergently. Okay, you no longer feel like a team, even though the Bible says the two shall become one flesh. You are no longer one. At this point, you even go further where now the narcissist begins, oh, fine, if you don't want me, I also don't want you. I'm trying to do my life. And then you just, I don't care whatever you do with me. I've already checked out. Okay, so at this point, you can't even show love towards each other. You are really on a separate path. If the narcissist is able to wake up and really face the truth and face themselves, they might be able to start working on themselves to start healing. Because the empath who reaches this stage is not coming back. They will never, what their eyes have seen, they have changed. I have studied the science. They have changed. Something has changed in their minds. Something has changed in their hormones and in their bodies. They will never be fooled to go back to where they used to be. They can't. It's not intentional. They don't decide. The change has happened to them. It's like telling an adult to become a child again. They can't. It has happened. There is a proper physiological and psychological change that takes place in a narcissistic victim after they go through the trauma phase. From that point, you can't change them. So the only thing that will save the marriage here is that the narcissist is now willing to wake up and say, I've done enough. Let me deliver myself from this devil and catch up with my partner. Otherwise, the next thing is that they may check out and just go find another victim. And then that's the end of their marriage. But if they're able to confront the truth and decide to upgrade and change genuinely, then their partner will be there waiting for them. Okay, when they see real change, they will see. But you can't love bomb them, you can't deceive them anymore. And anytime you drop back, it will show. They will not follow you there, because something that they have grown up, they've matured. Okay, so if the narcissist is able to really take responsibility and work on themselves, so that they're able to restore their marriage at least. And most of the time, if they really work on themselves spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, and they really grow, the marriage becomes better than it was and better than most standard marriages. But unfortunately, very few narcissists are able to get to that point. Many give up and they go look for another victim. Others also just carry on, keep on playing for the rest of their lives in the marriage. They won't leave. And maybe if their victim is maybe somebody who doesn't want to destabilize the family, maybe for the sake of their children, or maybe they have a particular public position, or like, for example, those in ministry and all that. That's why sometimes pastors and gospel musicians and some of them endure till sometimes they are destroyed. Others, you see that they are there, but they are not really there because they don't want to bring disrepute to the name of God, to the name of ministry. They don't want to destabilize the church people. They don't want any negative advert for God. Okay, so they just stay, but they have changed, and nothing will change them. So if the narcissist is wise, they will grow up and come and meet them. Otherwise, they will keep following them, shouting tantrums, but it will not amount to anything. Or they will move away and go find another victim. I pray for you that if you are in any marriage like that, God will show you mercy. That if you are the narcissist, that your eyes will open. You are destroying yourself and destroying others. It will not end well with you. Repent and find a way of rebuilding a proper life. If you are the victim, I pray that the Lord will heal you, establish you, and restore you and renew you. In the name of Jesus. I pray that your marriage will not break down. It will heal and become better than it was. God bless you. Send us a message. If you've gone through narcissistic abuse and you need help, you need counseling, get in touch. We might be able to help you. God bless. We'll come your way again. Bye-bye.